Fantis was leading the B-SIG. Now this was 95 or 96. And so I volunteered to help Karen, who had done the B-SIG the year before, and I believe she had actually taken it from Irv, who started the B-SIG, and then created the C-SIG for people who were not able to ride in the B-SIG, who basically had heavier bikes or maybe less fitness or were more casual cyclists. And so we now had the A, B, and C SIG, and remember at that time, this was before email. I mean, this is amazing. It was like, we basically would fax people or call people to get them together. And we had 35 at the most people, and it was Karen and I, the two of us could handle the SIG at that time. I mean, email started coming into existence and more people were using email, and it was just incredible what it did. I mean, over the next 3 or 4 years that I did the B-SIG with Karen, it started getting bigger and bigger. Then Carol Wasser volunteered to take the B-SIG from us, and then she just turned it into a totally new animal. It just became bigger with more leaders. Carol, if anyone knows Carol, and Annalene Dinkelman, the two of them just were extremely energetic. Both of them are high energy people. And they basically organized the B-SIG in such a way that it had many groups, many options, and it just evolved even further. Just incredible. And I had left the B-SIG at that point because Irv Weissman had passed away, and I had really vowed to Irv on his deathbed that the C-SIG would go on. I mean, it was amazing that here's someone dying of cancer, and he was more concerned about others than he was himself. And Patricia Janoff, one of his disciples, Irv had angels and he had disciples. People loved Irv. And Patricia Janoff offered to be the coordinator of the C-SIG, and I jumped in there with her, and we've done it ever since. Patricia Janoff, a few years back, basically went on to have more of a life with Jim, her husband, and I have a very supporting wife who basically puts up with me every spring to do the C-SIG, which I love. The enthusiasm from the participants is just incredible. It's inspiring, where you're basically sharing what you know with people who are hungry to know how to ride in a group and how to learn more about cycling. They don't have any preconceived notion that they know what they're doing, and many of them do. But the enthusiasm is just incredible.
I had a good riding career. I was blessed to be very fast. I started out in the A's and was never not an A. And it was interesting because when you lead the SIG, you know, you can't ever teach something without learning something. And you know, I didn't know what it was like not to be an athlete because I'd always been one, always assumed everybody was one, sort of somewhere deep inside. And we were up at Rockland and we were doing some very, very complicated Tour de France like patterns. And somebody said, what is it you want from us? And I said, well, what I want is for, you know, at the end of this ride, what I want is for the bike to feel like an extension of your body. And she looked at me and she went, excuse me. She goes, I'm still trying to get my body to feel like an extension of my body. And it was a funny moment, but it changed the way that I thought. It changed the way that I taught. I realized that, you know, that kind of proprioception that you take for granted, not everybody takes that for granted. And so I began my teaching at a much more sort of basic level.
And I recommend it to everybody. I recommend any of the SIGs to anyone. They're unique training programs that we or the club put a lot of work into to provide an environment where we can show people how to ride safely in a group, and people evolve and cycling becomes a large part of many of their lives. And if not, that's fine too.
Seeing people start out at many different levels. In those days, people would come with 3-speed bikes and, you know, jean shorts and all kinds of crazy equipment. Nowadays you can't tell whose riding level is what, because everyone's got a fantastic bicycle. But it was a great experience, and you'd see over the course of 10 or 12 weeks people really become fantastic cyclists.
The fact that the club will bring along people who are truly interested in biking, who really want to work at it, yet they want to have fun as well. And I think that combination, there are so many cyclists in the New York City area out on the road now who wouldn't be there if it hadn't been for the New York Cycle Club and all the great things they've done in the SIG and the STS. Just absolutely wonderful.
The proof of the fact that our club does tend to ride very safely is that graduates from the SIG tell me that when they ride in groups other than the SIG, how unsafe they feel. Because the SIGs do promote safety and fun as the two main objectives, not speed, not acting crazy. So yes, I absolutely believe the riders from the New York Cycle Club ride safer. They're good diplomats for bicycles and bicycle riding in the city.